I actually believe that a lot of young believers on campus are misdirected. Um, a lot of the time, we have zeal without direction, and it is a challenge because our teachings are focused on purpose, but we do not live purpose inclined, purpose driven lives. And this is what I mean. Most of the time, or 90% of the time, my statistics may not be correct, but I believe that when we talk about purpose on campus for young graduates, undergraduates, most of the time the idea that is being communicated is that the pursuit of purpose tends towards ministry, mainstream ministry, either you're in the fivefold ministry. And this is why I think we have most people who are coming out and their major focus is to become ministry persons, pastors, preachers, teachers, evangelists, which are not bad in themselves, which are essential. But if you look at it in a broader view, you find that it is creating an imbalance because we spend our time praying, a lot of time praying, engaging in retreats, conferences, but we are not providing real world solutions. And I mean, if your entire focus is centered around being a preacher, which is good, who is going to run the industries, who is going to draft out policies that will create growth. And then another thing I believe is a challenge is we pray, spend time praying, engaging in long stretches of prayer, and then we expect an ideal outcome. We expect a perfect outcome rather than going out to create them. I mean, if it was that way, when Jesus met Peter after they had toiled all night to catch fish, and they couldn't get any catch, and they were frustrated, and Jesus borrowed their boats and told them to cast their net. And this situation would be that Jesus would have just called for the fishes to come out of the river and start harvesting them. But Jesus told them to throw their nets into the other side of the river for a great harvest. That was a real situation, not an ideal situation. That was what was expected. So you don't pray, you don't engage in series of long prayer stretches and sit down and expect for things to fall out perfectly in ideal conditions. You have to get your hands dirty in a good way. You have to set out and work. You have to be creative. You don't just sit down, fold your hands, and expect things to manna to fall into your lap, And I think that's a challenge with our generation. We wait for ideal circumstances, we wait for ideal situations. So we pray, we generate a lot of power, but they go to waste. If pressure, what happens when we pray and generate a lot of power is that pressure is built up in a system, pressure is built up in a place. And what happens is, if the pressure is not properly managed or maintained, it ruptures. It ruptures the vessel, ruptures the situation, ruptures the environment. And what that rupture creates is not a good thing, to lead to destruction, because it is not properly harnessed, it is not properly maintained, it is not properly structured. So when we pray and generate power, let us not just fold our hands and expect ideal situations. Let us maximize the uniqueness of that situation and set out to work. Just like Peter, let us cast our nets on the other side and get a harvest. And this means that we should take our focus, we should broaden our focus beyond a pulpit person into and diversify into other sectors. Let our purpose, let our teachings on purpose, let our mindset on purpose shift towards other sectors of the economy, other sectors of the nation, other sectors of life generally, and let us see if we will not have change in quantum measures. I hope this helps. Thank you.